What's up, YouTube? If you're watching the video, you know we top 8'd another challenge last night. So I realized I didn't have an intro to that video. I'm here to give you a quick intro to the list, quick breakdown, and then we'll hop into the matches so you can see how those went live. If you want to check out any live streams in the future, you can find us in the link below down to our Twitch, as well as links to the Blue Sky, Twitter, come join the Discord, all that fun stuff. But let's get into the list. So we ran Dimir again, Dimir Frog Type. We top 8'd the challenge on Thursday with it. Ran it back yesterday. Had a pretty nice little run there. But some of the changes I made to the list included things like cutting the third copy of Subtlety. I felt like Subtlety was best as a 4-mana 3/3 flash flyer, not so much as an evoke elemental. So because of that, I decided to cut back on a Subtlety to replace it with another threat. I cut the third, no, didn't have the third preordained. Cut something, either way, cut the fourth Murktide. Added to Kaito, Bane of Nightmare. Kaito's a card that I think is really good into the black-white matchup. Also really good into the Dimir mirrors. Not as much into some of the unfair fast stuff like Amulet Titan or Breach, those fast combo decks. Not as good, but okay into Boros. But it's a threat that I think pairs extraordinarily well with Tamiyo, with Orcish Bowmasters, stunning stuff down so you can attack him with Frog or Murktide. So it's got a pretty good bit of utility. I decided to add the sixth removal spell in the form of the Dismember. It kills off Ketra, it kills off opposing Oculus. You can use it on 1-drop threats like Tamiyo or 1-drop threats like Emery. Kills everything out of black-white blink. So I think Dismember is probably the removal spell that I've gotten the most use out of past the 4 Fatal Push. And with Boros on a bit of a decline, I don't mind so much being kind of aggressive with my life total early. The lands, I swapped out the Dark Slick Shores for a second Gloom Lake Verge to try to mitigate some of the late game coming into play tapped, since we're not running any Thought Seizes in the main. Spoiler alert, it ends up mattering at some point. Whether good or bad, you'll have to watch to find out. But yeah, that's about it for the main. The sideboard added a copy of Anoint with Affliction to try to help deal with opposing Ketra. Added the Stern Scoldings back in because every time I run these events, I see a bunch of Solitude decks. And yeah, I think those were over the third copy of Thoughtseize and the Mystical Disputes. So a lot of shuffling around going on with the list. Either way, I hope you enjoy watching some of the gameplay. Let me know down in the comments below what you've been changing up, what's working for you. Always excited to hear what's going on, so you have a little bit of an idea of what's working, what's not working. Other than that, come say hey in the Discord. Come talk about it. We're prepping really hard for RC Charlotte. Hope to see you there. So if you're wanting to get some thoughts and insight as you prepare for your tournaments as well, love to have you around so we can talk shop. Other than that, let's get rolling with the games. Looks like round 1 is already upon us. Save. Forgot I did like a fresh install of Moto, so it might be a little clunky. Opponent last seen Eldrazi ramp. This could be okay. Get some of this stuff out of the way and resize a little bit. Could be okay. I do have like a force into a turn 2 Frog if it's Eldrazi. Dismember and Shoot are both pretty bad, but I don't really want to throw back a hand that just has a quick Frog if it is Eldrazi, so I'm going to keep and see what happens. If it's not Eldrazi, is it just like sewers? Bleach Bone Verge. Okay. Well, that's what's going on, and this is in fact sewers. And this hand is like a little bit better. Not perfect, but all my stops are gone. Want some of those. All right. So I'm going to have to decide if I am on board with jamming this frog here or if I want to wait. I want to wait. Is this a newer miracles list? I'm talking for someone else. Got it. I was like having an upkeep stop. Really like my opponent to try to resolve like a Delia or something here. Bellmeyer's throwing me off a little bit. Now I'm kind of wondering if this is like not sewers. I've never seen Bellmeyer out of sewers. Next turn's going to be my play out a threat turn. Could respond to this with my fetch. Probably okay. So I think I'm gonna play out the frog. I should just wait another turn. Got it. Sure. There is a bowmaster. You have a removal spell for it. Yep. You play Dimir or Eldrazi at the RC, which do you feel more comfortable with? That's going to be my answer like 98% of the time. Kind of like both of those. Carry on. You play Dimir or Neo form of the RC? You should play Neo form. You should absolutely play Neo form. You got it. Okay. I think we have no choice but to jam this frog. See what happens. I'm shocked. Shocked and appalled. Does life total matter a lot in this matchup? No idea. I don't even know what the matchup is yet. I can take guesses, but all I know is I'm looking for more Bowmasters. Assuming it's sewers. I don't think it's sewers based off Fellmire, no creatures being played yet. But hey, I've been wrong before. Okay. And here's a frog. I think what I cannot do at this point is let a Ketramos resolve. I know I've got the Dismember, but I kind of run into the issue of if they have Ketramos and then just like Arch for 4. So I just have to discard 3 cards to save this. Seems like a pretty good deal. Shoot doesn't look like it's doing anything. Maybe I discard shoot, dismember, force. This is minus X, up minus X, right? X damage. Doesn't matter. So that's 2 counters on the frog. Frog's got 4 damage and go. What did you get rid of? A Soul Spike and a Ketramos. What are the odds that they have got another Ketramos in hand? Or is this just a Necro in hand? All right. Banking on a Necro. Damn it. We guessed wrong. Right? Well, we took the gamble on whether we thought this was a Ketra or a Necro. Guessed wrong. That being said, they are going to lose a good bit of life off these Ketra triggers. Resolve Ketra is indeed whack. All right, well, we're never going to have a graveyard. Guess I can play a Murktide. Yep. Time to draw a Murk just a little bit. So it's just removal, Ketramos. I don't know if they're running Necker dominance yet. Do you not swing to hold back your frog? I find that odd personally. I think that's fine. Like, holding back the frog to stop me from drawing, like, a way to deal with the Ketramos is reasonable. I wish we could have found another copy of Bowmasters here somewhere. A little bit late. Yeah. Just going to be outgaining with Shieldred. Okay. Well, at least you have a better idea of what we're up against. Shieldred, Bowmaster, Shieldred, Dolphy, Ketramos, Emperor of Bones, Removal. Since they have Soul Spike, I gotta assume they have Necro Dominance. Maybe that's the wrong thing to assume, but didn't see Bowmasters. I don't remember offhand what their land situation looked like. I assume they probably got a bunch of basic swamps. This is the kind of matchup where finding Kaito would be a godsend. Shoot the Sheriff, probably not great. It doesn't hit Dolphy. I didn't see a lot of Spell Snare targets. I want to just drop snares. Like all I saw was X removal spells. We had Dolphy. Didn't see Bowmaster. Boggart Trawler, the other MDFC removal spell, Ketramos. They did have Emperor of Bones. Alright. I'll roll like this. Would love to see Tamio. Would love to see Kaito. Speak and you shall receive. Kind of like make them have the removal spell right here for the Tamio, and then maybe get to slam the frog next turn. Soul Spike my turn one Tamio. Pitching a Necro Dominance. Okay, so they do have Necro Dominance, and they are scared shitless of Tamio. All things that are good to know. Am I subtletying this? I am. Sorry, tomato. Keep the snare in case they put it back on top, which they did. Okay. Yoink. I plan to play KetraPhlage at the RC. Not sure yet. Like, it's on the table, but I really am not sure if it's any sort of for sure yet or not. Okay. Now I do want the draw off of this frog. So I'm going to set a stop during my damage step. Attack in. No blocks. Hit him with the frog. Draw my card. And now I'll ninjutsu in the Kaito. I lose out on 1 point of, or 2 points of damage, but I get the extra draw for having like the Kaito 0 and the frog connect, which is important for finding things like Force of Negation. So we'll bottom the Thoughtseize because they're down to 1 card, top the Force Negation, say go. When it has the KetraPhlage, going for the full draw too. Okay. Very bold. Let's go get our other Undercity. Actually don't mind a polluted delta here, because then I can attack with frog and hold up hard cast force. I would like to wait for the activation. I'm gonna Bowmaster now. If they don't have the removal spell, I don't want them to be able to tap. I respond to that, and they respond to the tap with like blow up the relic. Okay. Like this a little bit better when they didn't have both Shieldred and Ketramos. That's pretty good. Boink. 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 exile on their upkeep to Ketramos 10 with the Bowmaster trigger. And everything gets derailed if they have the card Soul Spike. We find off of our Kaito. So we'll put the counter spell on top just to try to protect ourselves from like a Soul Spike on their turn. Pass. On your upkeep, we'll give the Frog Flying. Ketramo's ability is not a May, so they're going to lose a life, draw a card. We're going to put a Bowmaster trigger on the stack, targeting them. That's why we kept Counterspell on top. Ooh. And if they did something else, we could respond with discarding the Consider to Frog, exile 3 to the Frog again, put another Bowmaster trigger on the stack, targeting them. Omega Cloud Darth, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the subscribers. Enjoy access to all of our sweet custom Death Shadow emotes. All right. Anything I want to change up? Stern Scolding. Stern Scolding hits Dolphy, Emperor, the 3 mana, exile the Yardu, the Boggart Trawler. Does not hit Ketramos, does not hit what's her name? Shieldred. I haven't seen any like Thought Seizes or Inquisitions out of them. Maybe they just don't have room for those in the deck. I don't really want to board out the Murktides because the rest of their deck seems pretty dead if I can get down a Murktide, but at the same time, they just have so much grave hate. I feel like I'm never actually resolving one. Just rolling back with this. I think Harbinger would be good. It might, but I don't know enough about their deck. And I don't want to bring in Harbinger and risk it not being good. But, like, I really don't have a clue if they've got a bunch of swamps and just aren't seeing them, or if they don't have them, if they're just all MDFCs, which it looks like they are. I also don't like Harbinger as much on the draw as I do on the play. And the fact that they've got like soul spikes that are free, the March of Wretched Sorrows, and the disrupting, or not disrupting shoal, the shoal, these have a lot of very low cost or free removal spells for a Harbinger. I think that's a bit of a swinger. I don't think Harbinger's like a come down and lock them out game, or lock them out plan. What's the name of the shoal? Sickening Shoal? Betrayers of Kamigawa All-Star. Yeah, so this is just completely free. I wonder if their list is up somewhere. Yo. Fresh. Sure. All of their results are with Eldrazi. Tells me nothing. Do have Thoughtseize. Rapscallion. They took Tameo. They're so scared of the Tameo. I love it. All right. I know they don't know about this land. I'm giving them like free information off that, but I want to be able to get my Surveil land if they don't do anything. So I'm kind of okay giving that up. Yep. Bree, what's up? Well, you're not doing a whole lot in the face of all this grave hate, are you? Draw. At the moment, at least, they know I don't have a copy of Counterspell, or when they last saw. So maybe this will catch something off guard. They're not doing anything. I'm going to go for Consider. I could go for the Bowmasters, but my fear would be I go for the Bowmasters, miss my land, and then I'm just like not doing anything. I'd rather try to find the land drops. All right. We're gonna test our opponent here. I'm gonna main phase pop this Misty Rainforest because they should be thinking I'm a Murktide deck and they need to pop this relic right now so I can't resolve a Murktide. There's a chance that they don't, and I don't get my Surveil land, or I have to decide on my Surveil land. Yeah, so if we had a Murktide here, we'd feel pretty good. Unfortunately, we don't, so we just kind of have to roll with it. But they should pop this relic in response, which would mean I don't have to deal with the relic in case they have a Ketramos in hand. Not a second copy of Dismember on the board instead. It kills Belmerk as well as Ketramos. So if you play around them getting Baelmerk down as a creature, so like they've gotten the 2 mana, play out the Baelmerk, they've blinked it, come back in, gotten another trigger, and then you're playing around killing it at that point, you've like already lost that battle. And it's just kind of, it's not wasted effort. It's just not the way you want to be interacting with Baelmerk. So I wouldn't play cards that inherently are putting you in a very disadvantageous situation because they're not like interacting when and how you want them to. Does that make any sense? Like kind of setting yourself up to be in a bad spot against Baelmerk because you're only giving yourself the opportunity in a way that's, or to interact in a way that's not advantageous if they have the Baelmerk. Need this Kaito down, but I can't afford to tap off of Counterspell here. So I'm going to wait until next turn. Not that like it's bad to have Dismember over Anoint in the board. I just wouldn't suggest it for the purpose of dealing with Baelmerk. Maybe they think I'm not willing to pick up this this Orc Army token. I absolutely am willing to do. Ooh. I would like to draw some cards. Yep. Passing. That's not a good sign for you. Like to force negation that. Anything else? Sure. I've got no graveyard. Soul Spike. More like no spike. All right, I might just go ahead and tick up Kaito this turn. But I guess I'm not really like that afraid of a another Soul Spike off the top. We'll just hit and 0. As long as I take Kaito up at least once, it's fine. That doesn't matter. I'll keep you. Go. Necro dominance. More like no crow dominance. You keep getting away with these sick burns playing Dimir. And we'll 0 Kaito next turn so that we can, or +1 Kaito next turn. We can kill. Sure. Go. Sorry, let me recite the song of my people. Kaito! They don't mess around with these late night challenges. Opponent seen 2 days ago on Amulet Titan. Well, I've got Force for an Amulet. I've got a Frog. Cameo. I think Consider's better. I think it's more important that I find my black source for Frog next turn. Stop it. Are you about to hit me with a triple Amulet start? Suns for Dryad. Right. We're going to take the opportunity to try to take out the green source and see how far that gets us. You have Bounce Land Payoff. Oh, that's a good start. Spelunking. All right. My plan from here. They've got enough mana to double bounce, activate the Analyst, but all they're getting is a Dryad and a Saga. Not the scariest yet. Will be in a couple turns. Kind of thinking of throwing the Thoughtseize back in the main as a 3 of. I really like Thoughtseize in the main. You just kind of have the issue of you got to cut something. And there's not really anything that I think is just an obvious cut for me right now. Missed our one snared target. There's still another Green Suns for another Arboreal Grazer. We're not out of hope yet. All right. Okay. So I know we're hopping frog. I kind of want to keep the Tameo. I'm fine discarding the snare. No, I want to play the fetch here. I do want to find surveil land. I guess I can't keep the Tameo. I have to throw Tameo into the frog to get the Dryad or the Arboreal Grazer off the board. What? Well, that's no good. Hmm. Did I click through it? Saw the frog go up like going to attacks. And then stopped going up. Lagged a bit, but it looked like click through. Very well could have been. And that was your last. No. I guess it still could be a Titan. Puts a card on top. Okay. All right. We weren't beating that anyway. That's fine. Kaito not quite as useful here. Him on the play. I like the consign a little bit more on the play than the draw. Do I like anything more than the scolding, like the fourth push? Roll with it. How's the record? 1-0 right now. We beat the black-white control deck or KetraPhlage something round one. All right. Scolding into a frog. I will 100% snap off this scolding on an arboreal grazer. I would, opponent. Surgical. Surgical is a good card to have. We'll see if it ends up making an impact. Now, I'm pretty inclined to go all in on the frog here. So I think I'm going to. You got another dismember, I am pretty screwed. If you got a seal of removal, I'm pretty screwed. Fair. I don't think I'm ever going to have much success playing around double or our greats are double dismember. Especially if they also have a functional start after that, which it looks like they do. We're just eating that L. Okay. Everyone thinks they're brilliant for having all that. And talking to their chat, like, yeah, we're gonna get them with the second dismember plus amulet. Right where we want them. Little do they know we sideboarded into amulet control. And they got the Bajuka Bog. Okay. Yeah. Show me third copy of this member. How many ways they have of dealing with this after the two dismembers are gone. So we're gonna jam it and find out. Pass. Okay. We call this yeah, you had a lot hand. Sign the spelunking trigger. Use my mana and draw a card. Unless their last card is Scape Shift. Okay. I feel like they don't have anything, but I'm still just kind of terrified to tap off of sync. But maybe I need to look at like into their turn, sync the Dryad. So I can try to draw into a counter spell on mine. Probably what I'm gonna do. Show me a counter spell. Pretty good one. So bottom U, top U, flip the Tameo. There you go. So now at least I've got Tameo to rebuy, like Sync into Super, Preordain. Brad resolved. Royal Grazer is fine. Joke's on you. I'm not attacking through anything anyway. That will work towards Tamuel. And hopefully figure something out on the way. But I believe... Draw card. Draw card. Nice. Nice. We're just gonna play Murktide. Because I just have Subtlety Counterspell backup. And let's draw 16 cards. Do we hit our basic swamp? Nope. That's fine. Because we've just got Sink into Stupors and counter spells and whatever else we want at this point. Yeah, go. Odawara, my Dryad, or my Harbinger. Could have gone for Fatal Push into turn. I probably should have done that. Oh well. Tidbrask, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you're at in the world. Appreciate you coming around. All right, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana, 2 cards. Shifting Woodlands is copying an expedition map. So my assumption for this would be that they want to go and get Cavern. So I think I'm going to respond to this with Kill the Dryad. Also lets me get my basic swamp. You may have your woodlands be a copy of expedition map. I'm gonna crack this. Again, assuming we're going to get a cavern and they just are under the impression that I'm not going to be killing them this next turn. Realistically, I'm just going to like cast a cantrip or two, or Teleria West, sure. Let's see what's going on. So realistically, I'm just gonna cast like a cantrip or something, go to my turn, play a frog, exile some stuff, and have a lethal Murktide in. That way I just never have to tap off of multiple counter spells. I could also go to flash in the subtlety, but I really don't have to. And again, that would involve me tapping off of multiple counter spells for whatever's going on. Anything I want to be more or less concerned about. It showed multiple dismembers. The list that they last had reported didn't have seal of removal in the 75. So that's really good for me. Do like consider a little bit less on the draw. Consider consign. Come back here. You leave. Green Sun's Pact, Explore, Escape Shift, Amulet, Map, Spelunking. Yeah, I do want that third, fourth. I'm just going to drop the third consign. Call it a day. This hand is pretty not great. That being said, I do have a free pitch to subtlety. I've got to turn 2 frog. I've got to turn 1 play. I'm like not interacting at all. I think I'm throwing this back. I've got Thoughtseize, Surgical to draw towards. I've got Force of Negation. Got Harbinger, technically. One Saga is always terrifying. Not having a black fetch kind of sucks. I'm just passing with Counterspell here. So if they get an amulet, I need to be able to interact with whatever they cast off of this. Spelunking. Really surprised with throwaway spelunking there. Okay, well, apparently we are on the draw mono blue fetches. Thank you. All it took was wading through almost all of them and scaring ourselves half to death, but we've got a strip mine. Now it becomes a game of how much can we do to mitigate them having dismember into something. Frog. Okay. I think I'm going to discard the consign. Keep the counterspell and the force. Play out the land. Okay. We'll discard this second counterspell too, pretty aggressively. Or not counterspell, second polluted delta. This thing, the land, not the counterspell. Keep the counterspell, throw away the land. Discard counterspell. Not casting the preordained here because it would tap me off of one of my 4 blue sources, which I would like for the double counterspell. Every time I walk out, there's just like 7 of them sitting around the floor. I haven't seen 1 day ago on Breach. Well, I had to open my big mouth, didn't I? Mulligan to 6. A Saga. Okay. I'm going to jam out Tameo here. Kind of wish that I could just go consider and try to find my second blue source for counterspell. But I don't want a body on board. Okay. Option number 1. We just aggressively go to flip this Tameo. Just like double consider right here. Get Tameo flipped. Hope that our opponent can't just combo kill us when they untap. I don't hate it. But it does put like a lot of pressure on them to act.
Could absolutely backfire, but here we are. Amber, Mox Opal. They give me a chance to like subtlety a cameo or an Emery, I'll actually absolutely do that. You could just make a construct. Rumble. Reveals. But they kept Mox Amber. Yeah. They're running stock up. They kept Mox Amber over a land drop. It couldn't. Yeah, they could have gotten the sink into stupor. Oh, you're right. Sink is the spell. That's fair. That's fair. All right, now I can't have both counter spell and spell snare up regardless. But I think I want to. Do I want to bowmaster this token? So the three options: swamp, bowmaster the token, sink, hold up, counter spell, and spell snare, undercity, pass. Probably just sink. So I got Tamio ult in 2 turns. So I kind of feel like I just need to be on the don't die plan. I do have delirium. Well, eventually we'll get to finish taking up this Tamio. Maybe. Maybe opponent went to go take a nap. It is kind of late. Wouldn't blame them. Oh, there we go. Think go. Come on, make a construct. Ooh. Very nice of you. Yeah, they've already missed the land once. Not going to give them the free one here. Now I'm very inclined to just kill this Eldrazi spawn. It stops them from having a second mana in case they do have a breach here. There's Swamp. Oh man. Did have the Emery. I assume this is going to be fine because we got the Tamiyo ult on our turn. But I'm really surprised they kept going. Well, I guess if they didn't have a land, it makes a little more sense. But I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised that they had Emery and Tamiyo and just kept going for Rumbles instead of trying to play one of those. Because, like, if one of these resolves and they get Mox Amber to just cast the other one, they're in a much better spot than trying to push through the what's it called? Malevolent Rumble. Double Saga hands suck if you whiff. Yeah. No argument there. Alright. Breach. Breach. Kaito, a little slow. Murktide can be a little awkward since they can tutor up Grave Hate as well as Spell Bomb, if they have Aether Spell Bomb. Played in the challenge like yesterday yesterday. So I'm assuming they're playing basically the same list, and they had one Spell Bomb and one Soul Guide Lantern in the main. Bowmaster's pretty mid. Subtlety's kind of mid. I'd rather just find a hand with removal spell for a 1-drop. I Could keep the Tameo and cut another Bowmaster. Bring in like a Scolding. I don't think that last spot really matters all too much. Mulligan to 6. I'm pretty inclined to follow them. Like, the lesson I have been telling myself against Breach is not to let a 1-drop go unanswered. And a hand like this, I'm really worried about them having like a turn 1 Emery, and I just can't do anything about it. That being said, if they're on a mulligan, I could be a little looser with a keep and just say, like, I've got answers for stuff that aren't creatures, but I think I'd rather find a hand with like a fatal push or a frog or something. This is okay-ish. Throw back the sewers. Well, the Seiju turn 1, notoriously not very good at casting a Emery or a Tameo. I do have the Tameo. I just go in after the opal here. Opal or Tameo. Tameo is definitely the scarier thing at the moment. We'll take Tameo. Rumble. Rumble finds Breach. As one does. Is there any reason that I want to crack this spell bomb into turn? No. Or more accurately, I can't. Yep.
Yep. Just gonna use this to get back to Tamio. I can't crack the spell bomb in response to the breach, because then they can just play the grinding station in hand and have the ability to stack right away. But I don't think it's gonna matter. Mill. If I respond to this with spell bomb, they still have sack opal. They have the extra artifact to go off. So just doesn't matter here. The joy of breach. At least I know the Tamio didn't matter. We're going to make them play it out because I need to know what their win condition is. Breach not sticking around. Probably not. There's like a much better shot at beating Breach reliably when they only had Amber. So, yeah, I need to see like what their sideboard plan is. I need to see what their win condition is. But Opal definitely just kind of busted the deck wide open. There's always the chance that they sack the breach on one of, or sack the opal on one of these turns and just flip over like win condition and two things that don't matter. How many good opal decks are there besides breach? I don't think there's any besides breach. There's a bunch of decks that like play opal, but I don't think there's good opal decks. Affinity. I repeat my my statement. There's Jace. There goes Jace. There's a Ren and 6. I also really appreciate Breach's ability to have. They gotta have the Thoracle in hand, right? Yeah. It's like the only way they're going for this is if the Thoracle's in hand. All right, I gotta decide if I want to go Tamio route, if I want to go Stern Scolding route. Now that I've shown them Harbinger, it's a little less effective. Could cut the subtlety. Yeah, Consign is like okay at stopping exactly the saga trigger that makes constructs, but you typically don't care about their search because it's just like getting a mana rock more often than not. Consign does counter opals and stations, but those aren't things you want to be fighting over.
Like, those are things that if you counter and then they follow up with a breach, it just doesn't matter that you countered them. So if you can choose to not spend your counters on opals and breaches, it could potentially save you a lot of headaches in the future. That's the exact same reason that I don't think like pest control is very good against them. Or it's good at stopping constructs. It's not good if your plan is trying to fight over the 0 mana artifacts. All right, opponent kept something on top. So let's find out what. Kept a bauble on top. Not the most impactful key. Frog. Tier 0 top deck. Yeah, I wouldn't sideboard and claim in this matchup either. Is this to get delirium for unholy heat? Is that what we're doing here? No. Fair enough. Pitcher's claims gone. Draw. He was a good draw. Ironically, kind of glad that they used it there instead of using it on my Harbinger, but, you know. No! Wrong! Sorry, buddy. Sorry, Frog. Don't hate me. Alright. Got this stop on opponent's main phase and I haven't been liking it. Mox Opal. I don't care if it's just the Opal. Not, in fact, make that up. Shouldn't even be surprised. Go ahead and draw off this spell bomb. Cool. Cameo. Proceed. MTGO putting basic swamp directly below the frog. We knew it was there. And just undo. I want to pay the life. I don't want to tap off of my counters here. See, Moto had our back. Why are we tripping? We knew Moto was gonna get us. You silly rascal, Moto. On the draw again. I would like to be on the play. Please, sir. On the draw, if this is against Breach, I'd really like to see a fetch and a fatal push, a frog, 2 fetches, fatal push, frog, force of negation, blue spell, spell snare. That would be like my perfect 7. Turn to blue-red Murktide. The Patrick Sullivan special. Just hey, I haven't picked up Murktide in a while. Let's do it. The interview was god tier. The entire time he's just like, yeah, I think that card's from I think that card's from Lord of the Rings, so I don't want to play it. Or I want to look at my hand and like the cards that I see. I'm like, you absolute Chad. I don't want to play none of those MH3 cards. Like on that day, an entire just 100,000 Magic players accepted Patrick Sullivan as their spirit animal. Misty, Mox. The Emery. Ooh, no Emery. Okay. So if my opponent has got combo and can just kill me on turn 2, there is nothing in my hand that can do anything about that. So I am just going to play the Tamiyo, pass it over. What's this interview you guys are talking about? It's Patrick Sullivan's deck tech interview with, I think, what's his name, Miller at RC Portland a few weeks ago. Like round 1, he was on coverage and they were going through his deck and he just has like nothing from MH3. He's just running straight old school blue-red Murktide. no consigned memories or anything. And Nick Miller was asking him, like, well, why aren't you playing consigned memory? And it's just like, well, I looked at the card and I just don't like it. Like, are you not worried about Bowmasters? Like, I don't want to think about stuff from MH3 or Lord of the Rings. The entire interview is just like absolutely amazing. Pithing Needle. Own it. We need to have a talk. Good times. Like, I feel like there's no argument for Pithing Needle, Blind Name, Polluted Delta over something like Psychic Frog. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just feel like that's not the blind name you make. What else would you needle versus blue black? Psychic Frog? Like the best card on the blue black side? Hi, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome evening so far. On the bright side, I do get to start discarding the hand size. Heck yeah. Maybe the flip side of Tamio on the board. Maybe. It's okay. Like, they might not be in just naming the first activated ability they can think of. Mm. Didn't know that you can pick a flip side. You can name any card you want to name. What? You just have the entire thing rolled up? Fair enough. Fair enough. I think the Emeries just get you to waste counter magic 100%. Like, I've got to interact with the Embry or it runs away with the game. I didn't have guaranteed revolt or I would have let it resolve. But makes for bad content. I know Spike does it. I will never use a hand hider if I care about my opponent stream sniping at any point, or if I'm playing in an event where I don't want to risk it, I just won't stream that event. But I have to stress out to people watching the stream, I literally have TTV in my name. If that's not screaming, hey, I am actively streaming, I don't know what it is. So I have no right to complain if someone decides to stream snipe me, because I am literally advertising that I am streaming. And again, this is not me saying that my opponent is stream sniping. I'm just saying whether they are or they aren't, I don't have a leg to stand on. Turn 2 EE for 0 would be funny. All right. I'm going to go for the consider over the surveil land here, because it lets me dig a little bit deeper for a second land, and I really don't want to miss a second land with Frog sitting here. Okay. Don't want to miss a second land, he said optimistically. Rumble away. Flame of Anor, Underworld Breach, Grinding Station. When it gets back, Underworld Breach. The main mirrors are still toxic. Is it just like a battle of who's got more up the beanstalk still?
Got the counter. All right. Good first step. Hiya. They do have 3 card types. Cast another Underworld Breach. So are they... They could be just trying to Woodlands this if I counter it and they've got... If I counter it and they've got a 4th land, like another green source. Okay. What do we got? I get a Tameo Inquisitive Student. Sure. That's pretty good. You may have your Woodlands activation. Counterspell. Fair. Fair. All right, game 3 on the draw. I don't think I'm changing up anything. Didn't think you'd see the line. I'm not cutting Kaito for Merc because what's it called? Aether Spellbomb is like already one of the best cards against me, and Soul Guide Lantern, which are both tutorable. So I really don't want to put myself in a position where I've got a big threat that I tap out for and they can just bounce it. This is only keepable because it stops them from just winning turn 2 and 3. Yeah. Well, I also have the ability to dig for a threat. Like, I would prefer to have an actual threat in hand, but I'll take being able to search for something pretty aggressively. So this hand is like stopping combo while I dig.
And I'm going to be very aggressive about forcing something here because I just have Counterspell to untap with. Not that Breach is normally the target I want to go after. I also don't think I'm playing out Harbinger here. I think I'm waiting to see if I can catch them tapping out for like a rumble or something, then get Harbinger down. Go ahead. Have to fetch. Hate fetching here. Also don't mind that consider that's on top, but I think I'd rather him redealt with. Now we've got Slam Harbinger. Now if they can't have Unholy Heat, I'm kind of getting Otawara vibes. Could be wrong, but now I kind of feel okay. Go. GLHF. Okay. Now I don't think my opponent was stream sniping round one. I think they just blind named something. These are so good. It's just all a good bit of play. Gideon, I don't think saw a ton. Opponent seen 3 days ago on Mardu Ketra with Flage and Overlord Solitude. Okay. So before we even start this round, I am telling y'all I am never beating this in a million years. Just zero chance whatsoever. Do with that information what you will. 4 Ketramos, 4 Overlord, 4 Solitude, Phlages, Relics. If that's what they're playing, we're just here for wasting their next 40 minutes. I started playing when all the fetches were legal, so Jace was 100 as well before I built a real standard deck. Yeah, I played Jeskai and Jeskai Black in paper. So I had all my Jaces. I had really wasn't else I had all my ally color fetches, like the Polluted Deltas, Bloodstained Mires, and Flooded Strands were in that deck. One of the weaker builds for Overlord, maybe, but like I'm not beating the rest of the deck. No. I guess maybe if they go for something like a Ketramos here and I can interact. Still got my playset in MTGO that I paid 90 each for an MTGO. Yeah, thankfully I didn't do that one. I don't think they have anything they're flashing in. He says optimistically. Put a card on top. Okay, so this is probably Thoughtseize to try to protect a Ketramos or something. So I think I'm gonna rip this force, exiling Spell Snare. Yeah, we'll take that. Keep both of those. I'm hoping Tamio can pick up another piece of removal. Yep. Not a whole lot you can do if your removal gets or your counters get overloaded here. Hasty Solitude. That's what we're doing now. They're not running any kind of link effects. All right, go. I can just never jump this frog. If I force this, it's one less card in exile, and they don't get to draw off the KetraPhlage. They don't get to hit my Tameo. Now they do. Okay. Guess I can wait. I'd like to find a Bowmasters. Like a hard cast. Ending. No draw for you. Do this the old-fashioned way. Give me a counter spell. So this is online anyway, so playing out a big Murktide doesn't really matter now. Go. Have another Solitude. All right. Anoint that can conveniently hit Flage and KetraPhlage. Consign hits Solitude ETB, Flage ETB, Overlord ETB. Stern Scolding hits Ragavan, Solitude. Could be okay. Looks like Exercise, Ghost Vacuum coming in out of the board, Vindicate. really a spell snare. Hard sweet. Force pretty mid. Kaito great. Let's see. I got enough Grave Hate. I don't think I want Murktide. Did we win? Ha! Did we win? Did we win? That's funny. What's your next joke? Did we put up a fight? Again, ha. Am I winning? In general, sure. This match, not so much. Probably could have just taken Ketra, but I'm kind of figuring I've got a few looks for counterspell or something to do. Like, they were pretty patient about playing Ketra last game. So I'm going to kind of hope that we can utilize that a little bit and, like, buy ourselves a little time. How's the lag been? It's been fine, I think. Nothing real noticeable. Okay. So maybe if we get a tempo turn on this Ketra, we can maybe make something happen. Maybe they don't fetch. Dang. Got something you want on top? Something on top. All right. Preordain's a pretty good draw. I'm going to bottom the frog and top the second Bowmasters. Actually, that's probably bad. I think I should have kept the frog on top. So I could maybe go like double her, play a Bowmasters, untap, play a frog, play another Bowmasters, and just like never have to tap off of Stern Scolding. If they want to respond with a Solitude here, I'm happy to have that. Considers better than a random draw off the top. I was gonna say if they evoke a Solitude, I let it go. They do have Wrath the Skies in the board. I'm just gonna hang out here. To 6. Another Solitude. Yep. Interesting. Also interesting. Try to take them down to 2. Nope. All right, so their hand is Ketramos Prismatic Ending. Unknown. Okay. Option number 1, we can fight over this. Option number 2, we let them resolve this and try to flash in Bowmaster when they go for the pending. They're ways off of actually killing. So this resolves pending. They go to 4, Bowmaster pings to 3, and they're dead if they don't draw a removal spell. But I can get kind of blown out if they draw like a fatal push. So I think I'm just going to counterspell this. Oh, you're right. It's not a card. And yeah, definitely better to get the Ketramos off the board then. Another solitude. Well then. Turn solitude. Not hasting up. Well, that's GG's. Needed like a surgical right here. Yeah, not particularly surprised here. Kind of like I was saying when we first looked at their list. This is sewers, but just all the haymakers and more interaction. Can't beat a 5-mana 5/5. I can't beat a 5-mana 5/5 that also brings back a flash 3/2 exile effect. No. And then gets to attack and do it again. I think we could have let the KetraPhlage resolve if we could have Bowmaster token in response to pending rare time the token pump cost us. On the play. Not a great hand. Double subtlety doesn't look too great. Kind of want to mulligan and look for like a frog or a Tameo or Bowmasters or something. But I guess I do have like a decent number of things I can hit off of the consider. I don't know what I'm up against yet. Scalding Tarn. Okay. I'd like to see that. So they static prison it and I cry. Come on, just go for an Ajani. You know you want to. Been looking at these Ajanis in your trade binder all day. Like, man, I want to cast one of these. It's not an Ajani. Ajani at all. Bruh. Bruh. Where were you? Why do you hate me? Why do you despise being... Not you. Sorry. Sorry, counterspell. I didn't mean you. You're innocent. But this imposter... That's the third force negation you said was the flex spot. Heard me. How dare you call me a flex spot? Flage me, I dare you. Kept a card on top. Put the seasoned pyromancer on top. It's a really weird start for energy, right? It's a little different. Untraditional. Doing this pre-combat. This is the weirdest game ever. Is Brazen Borrower any good these days? I'm not a fan of it. I know there have been other people that have tried it and liked it. Really want to. I feel like it's just screw it. All right, so their last card is this Seasoned Pyromancer. Is this what the kids call tempo? No. No, it's not. What the kids call bad. What the kids call I'm gonna die to a flage. I'm sitting here messing around with bouncing static prisons. This has been a game of Magic. Tide. Hold up. Hold up. My boy getting some action off the top rope. Mark, where you at? Find me a counter spell. Dang it. Do I just keep another Kaito for subtlety pitch fuel? Probably. Kaito! Kaito! Got into the delusional part of the evening. What am I playing against? Boros on the draw. Fool activated my trap card. I don't even know what I'm sideboarding. I'm like counter spell. Probably, unfortunately, Treva Kaito on the draw. That was hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. All right. Thankfully, this is a Guide of Souls and not a Ragavan. Ragavan probably would have wrecked my entire existence here. Thumbnail for this YouTube video will be Mike and Kaito cosplay. Dude, Kaito's got that sweet little, like, cyber raccoon that runs around with him. That thing's dope. All right. Opponent not having a cat as well is honestly just a punt on their part. Um, I do want to be a little bit careful. They could have Blood Moon. I don't just want to like walk into it if I can avoid it. Be like okay with taking some chip shots. Okay, let's think. We can deluge and just 2-for-1 these 2 Gaia souls, which is probably reasonable. Opponent didn't play a 3rd land. If they have a 3rd land and a Blood Moon, I'm kind of in some trouble. If they've got something like a Seasoned Pyromancer, it could be okay. But I kind of feel like I want to just take the 2-for-1 off the Deluge so that I can hold up mana next turn or get down Spell Bomb. Since they can't get back Flage this turn, I think it's like a safe-ish turn to tap out. No, no way. You're captain of Eos. I don't really care so much about the sync, but I definitely do want the counter spell. Could just go ahead and pop the spell bomb and have my land drop, which I think is fine because I need to get this the spell bomb cracked before they untap anyway. No. One, two, three, four, five. Zabbit, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome evening so far. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. Gonna let this go. We'll exile you. Why not? Attack rate. There you go. GLHF. Might just be like aggressively try to flage. And get back flage. All right, can we find a way to exile a card from our graveyard? Show me a frog. Oh. All right, 2 cards. Kaito!
Like clean cuts.
But if it were like an RCQ and everybody could just scoop it up or shake hands here. I not. I'll let you look. Those opponents on Goryos. Probably just want to jam this Tameo here. Their list is interesting. We've got Tameo, Emperor, got Frog, 3 consigned to memory in the main deck. Looting. Really interactive. They've got 2 Kaito in their sideboard. Oh no. Oh no. Can't beat someone else having Kaito. X out, burn the tapes. All right. They could have a removal spell for the Tameo, but I think I still just need to jam it. Whoops, wrong chat. I'm watching Control Freak playing a win and in with Dimir. If he makes it in, this will be the 4th Dimir Murktide to make it in the past 4 weeks, and the 6th and 7th Murktide list in general. I'm glad you've run the numbers because I didn't know them. Here's a tomato.
Okay. Am I going for subtlety on a frog here? I think I am. I think I'm going to do it off of Murktide. Ah. Psychic Frog on top. Late night, what's up? Late night challenge. I'd like to thank you on behalf of all the night owls. We get that on a playmat. With a hoo hoo. Only if Baleful Strix is involved. Oh, Baleful Strix. Just an ephemerate. Gross. Gross. I don't think I can afford to go for the Tameo flip here. If I had a force in hand, it'd be different. But I need to find a removal spell for this frog like yesterday. Just didn't have ephemerate on the radar like at all. Okay. Still in just like a boatload of trouble.
I know they've got the Emperor of Bones activation, but I kind of rather them just go ahead and use that on this instead of me having to wait to see if they like discard wait and see if they discard to the frog and go for like Emperor Unearth on it. I think they've just drawn way too many cards at this point. Hmm. Maybe that does something. Here. Block here. Yep. All right. Well, at least this was good to know. I was not prepared for Esper Goryos. I guess I do still have sideboard games. Maybe we can be prepared. Okay. Esper Goryos with Ephemerate. Assume Goryos. What's the record? Currently 5-1. We shall see shortly if we get to go to 6-1 or not. I want to board out here. Kaito seems surprisingly decent. Maybe I don't want the second one. love to play first. We'll keep. Mulligans. Lead on Tarn Pass. Go for an Undercity here. Really need to find that second land. Easy coming in with the raid. Welcome, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. Hope you had an awesome stream. I'm gonna shock this in. Maybe it puts the fear into them that I've got a spell snare and they don't just like jam a frog. But welcome everybody from the raid. Hope y'all are having an awesome evening. We are playing technically are winning in to top 8 of the challenge. Realistically, I don't think it matters, but like I think we're locked either way. But 4-3, good luck. Take down the challenge. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind words. All right, so option number 1 is we push now to try to dodge Ephemerate, but we play into force. Option number 2 is we push on their turn, which I think I'm more inclined to do. I'm not fancy surgicling the Goryos. I don't have to yet. Like, how bad would this have looked if I surgical the Goryos and they got a free Emperor to target the Atraxa? They've got a Stock Up, a Solitude, a Goryos. I think I'm taking the Solitude because I've got Force for the Stock Up. Cameo, say go. I'm like pretty happy if they just exile the Solitude and use it on the Cameo. My surgical, sure. I really want them to get them, or want to get them to use the Emperor Bones adapt. Like, while it doesn't matter. Mm. We got Goryo's Unknown, right? I'm gonna save this sink to ditch to the frog. Finding's kind of rude. Okay. We're so late. It's gonna be block with Tamio. It is a 5/5 merc. All right. Okay. Didn't have Ketra on my radar out of them. And it's online. Anything we can do. They can just choose not to exile this, right? They're going to. Okay. Then they've got to have the force, right? Oh man. Yeah, 5-color Goryos with binding. I guess we've seen 5-color Goryos before. I didn't think they were binding. Yep. I'm gonna keep and hope we find the land. Subtletying a turn 1 Goblin Guide on the draw. Because I don't want to take the 2 damage. It's Goblin Guide on top. Please find me a land. I'm not asking for much here. Told you their deck's just like all 1 mana, 3 damage spells. Gloom Lake. Gloom Lake. Goblin Guide, I believe in you, buddy. Nope. What is the complete opposite of a land drop? I'll give you a clue. It's an a 7-drop Murktide. Yep. When like basically Underground Sea, is that? All right. We'll go to like keep the 1-land Gloom Lake Tameo on the draw, and then just immediately draw into more copies of Gloom Lake and a Murktide. It's got to be worst feeling ever. No 2-drops in their deck. Are there not any better options for lands? I mean, Dark Slick Shores. I just can't, right? Okay. Take one off the Swift Spear. Start setting up for this Murktide. All right. Gonna use this Goblin Guide. Psychic Frog. Frog. Yep. Uh-huh. Where dude is just broken burn. What do you do? Show me death. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 burn spells, couple dudes. I'm out. I'm out. I surrender. I yield. Well, on that note, that extremely painful loss. I guess it's kind of fair because we beat Damien in the last one. So this was a grudge match. Definitely kicked my ass that time around. So I'll take that L with a little bit of dignity. But we're going to send everybody over to BFG there. So if you want to stick around and check out some, looks like Necro Dominance, feel free to hang out and see what that's all about. Dropping a couple links in chat for the Twitter, the Blue Sky if you're on social media, YouTube if you want to check out this league or this event after we finish editing it. Probably be out sometime in the next couple days. And the Discord. If you want to come join the Control Freak Discord, always love to have you. Love to have people hanging out in there, chatting, seeing what's going on. And especially if you're looking for a little help on deck lists, sideboarding, whatever, for any kind of frog or shadow deck for any of your upcoming RC or RC season that's going to be right around the corner. But other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of y'all's evening or morning or afternoon. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thanks so much to the new followers, the new subscribers. Consider following if you haven't already. Other than that, go enjoy some good food and company. I will catch y'all back live later. Adios for now.
Control. Stop that.